I'm Nancy Showalter, and you're listening to Spirituality for the Politically Incorrect podcast. Welcome, all radical paradigm shifters and creative change makers. You who dare to create a better life and a better world. Tap into the power that resides within you and use that power for constructive change. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I have with me a special guest, Laurie Maloney. And Laurie is a certified meditation instructor. She's a modern mystic and a catalyst for healing. She's also the founder and owner of Unwind Meditation Studio in Houston, Texas. And they have a lot of different modalities that we want to talk about today. So it's really great to have Laurie here because her passion, her mission is really to help people heal, help them create the life of their dreams, come into alignment with their highest self, and manifest their desires. So Laurie, welcome. We're so happy to have you today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed your podcast so much, and it is really just such a pleasure to be here.
Well, great, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, why you're so passionate about meditation and mindfulness, and just how it all came about?
Sure. So I started meditating about 20 years ago, actually 30 years ago, forgetting how old I am. When my children were little, I was in my early 30s, and I was doing it really just to get to have some energy at the end of the day. When you have little children, it can be a little stressful. But I was more of a sporadic meditator at that time in my life, and when I did meditate, it always felt very good. But it wasn't until about 7 years ago, when I was going through a divorce, that I began meditating every day, and it was something that it was an inspiration that I received. So, you know, a divorce is not necessary. It's not usually very pleasant, and I was having a lot of negative emotion about it, and it's a very traumatic event, especially after being married for 16 years, and so I was experiencing a lot of negative emotion, and I remember thinking that it felt like poison was going through my veins, having all this anger and resentment, you know, every time I would read an email or a text, and I would get these feelings. And I'll never forget, I was dropping my children off one day, and I had read a text or an email, and I felt this surge of anger and resentment. And all of a sudden, I felt this pulsing in my veins, literally in my hands. And I thought to myself, if I keep this up, if this negative emotion is happening every day, I'm going to come down with a disease like cancer. And I thought, you know, I have to find a light at the end of the tunnel. I sort of felt like, I don't know if you have ever seen like The Princess Bride, but this is sort of a common theme in fairy tales where you're going through the dark forest, and at every turn something really scary or horrible jumps out at you. And that's what was happening to my nervous system. And I was always in the fight or flight mode. My adrenals were stressed, and I just knew if I kept that pace up with all that negative emotion and stress, it was really going to be bad. So a light bulb went off in my head, and the light bulb said, you need to meditate every day for 30 days. And I had read or seen somewhere that was very transforming, that if you could meditate every day for 30 days, it would transform you and take you to the other side. So right then and there, I started that day. And before the 30 days were up, I was transformed quite literally. I would wake up feeling happy for no reason, which is pretty amazing. You know, I think most people, you know, respond to what they're observing. So, you know, they're happy because something good happens. But I didn't win the lottery. I didn't meet my soulmate. Nothing amazing happened other than I was just meditating every day. And then magically, people, places, circumstances, and events started all falling into place. Because meditation is an amazing tool for manifestation, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So actually, within a few months, I did meet my soulmate, who I'm married to now, and my life has transformed. But that experience gave me the passion to really want to teach it to as many people as I can, because if it transformed me in that way, I know it can help everybody.
Absolutely. Well, what a great story. And that's what I think it's all about, really, is our awakening, our transformation. And I understand you have a number of different modalities that you pursue at your meditation studio. So why don't we talk a little bit about that? You talked about having to have focus. And I think that's such an intriguing topic because not many people talk about it, but I totally agree. It's very, very important. So tell us about that. Tell us how you implement that.
Sure. So what I have discovered is that learning how to focus is really one of the most overlooked but important things that a person could ever learn. So clearly, it's obvious that it would help in your daily life in things like reading or writing or studying, or perhaps a sports player. It helps to, hone their skills so that they can play a better game. But one rarely thinks that where your attention is, there you are. And it is quite literal. Where attention goes, energy flows. So wherever your attention is in that exact moment, that is where your consciousness is. And that has actually been proven scientifically in quantum physics, and as well as far as meditation goes, it has been scientifically proven that daily meditation creates new neural pathways in the brain, which help you to focus and bring clarity. So it strengthens and renews part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for focused attention. And as a culture, we're bombarded with things in our outer world that distract our attention every day. Well, I guess it depends where you live. Nancy, you're probably not bombarded, but the pace of our lives in big cities, and even not so big cities, it's very fast paced, and our attention is constantly being pulled in many directions. And so it is really no wonder that so many children are being treated for attention deficit disorder, as well as adults. So aside from the obvious, improving schoolwork and sports, you are literally training your life force, which is your life stream. And that's your flow of energy. And our life stream comes in, into our crown from our electronic body. It is also often referred to as our higher self, our inner being. Many people, call it their I am presence. So it has many, many labels. But when you meditate, you're connecting to that aspect of yourself. You're connecting to your highest self. And you're literally plugging yourself into this powerful source energy. When you can consciously direct it in a constructive way, that is when it can perform miracles in your life. And when you connect and allow that divine part of you to flow through you, then all good things begin to start flowing into your life as well. Now, the important thing I always like to teach is that it's very important to let go of resistance, things like negative emotion, because anytime we experience negative emotion, you're putting resistance on your path or in your even physical body. So that energy cannot flow. So it's important to keep your emotions harmonized. Meditation also helps to do that, because when you meditate, you're slowing down your thoughts. And when your thoughts slow down, your vibration naturally rises. And so as you focus on your higher self, you naturally begin to think more positive thoughts. And so then your life essentially ends up becoming, much more magical and interesting and fun, because when you develop that state of focus, you're in the state of allowing.
Well, and I was thinking, when you're talking about focus for an athlete who wants to master something or whatever, really focusing, as we're discussing now, is mastering life. It's
Right.
being able to focus your creative energy. We know we are co-creators. Look at the spiritual side. We were given dominion over this planet and
Right.
this dimension, and we create. We create, and hopefully we're co-creating with our higher self and with that alignment.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that word dominion, because essentially that is when one connects with his or her highest self and you learn to focus and direct that energy, then you are having dominion over your own personal life force. And that is really the key to living a happy life.
Exactly. And creating what you were meant to create in this dimension. We all have our purpose. And so, yes, meditation is awesome. It's an awesome practice. Maybe you could talk a little bit about some of the ways that you teach meditation.
Sure. So we teach from a variety of traditions. The way I see it, life is a buffet. So, I don't like to have the same thing for breakfast every day. There's so many wonderful, amazing techniques in meditation. So we have a lot to offer. And one positive aspect of the pandemic has enabled us to go live stream. So now anyone from anywhere in the whole world can join us in our meditations. But we have mindfulness meditation, which focuses on the breath and sensations in the body. We have chakra meditations, which guide you through the chakras of the body, your energy centers. We offer guided visualizations. We have sound baths, which is really fun.
Yeah, tell us about that. That's different for a lot of people, I'm sure.
So yeah, sound bath is a combination of a meditation and sound healing. I use singing bowls and tuning forks in the sound bath, as well as I have a crystal pyramid. And essentially it's like tuning the body. So everything in the world has a vibration. Our bodies, every organ, our bones, our blood, all resonate to a specific frequency, as well as emotions have specific frequencies. So if you're in a positive, happy state, happiness has a specific, higher vibration, whereas sadness or depression would have a lower one. So it's similar. Your bodies are like an instrument. So it's similar to when if you're tuning like a piano and the C note is out of tune. If anyone has seen a piano be tuned, what the tuner does is they introduce a tuning fork, which resonates to a pure frequency. And as he keeps reintroducing it where there's impure frequency, where there's dissonance or noise, the dissonance begins to entrain and autocorrect to the correct tone. So that is what happens to your body with sound healing. So when I use the pure frequencies of the singing bowls and the tuning forks, I actually use a combination of different protocols. I have specific combinations of sounds which help to relieve anxiety, help to balance the nervous system, help to increase creativity, all sorts of different combinations. So we're essentially tuning the body.
Right. And we know every part of our being, like you say, feelings, emotions, thoughts, words. Words are very powerful, bringing a frequency of energy too. And it is a tremendous creative force. I just finished a series on the chakras, the 7 major chakras.
Yes, I listen to everyone. I love it.
Yeah. And so it's really important to understand as that energy flows into our lower bodies, meaning lower physical, mental, emotional, memory, all of that exists here in this dimension. Mm-hmm. And our soul, or our electronic presence, whatever you want to call it, is truly experiencing in this dimension. And it's a limited focus here. We know in our higher self, we have incredible awareness. In fact, that part is made in the image and likeness of the divine. So you have that all-powerful, all-knowing, all-present being part of ourselves. But here, it's like we get narrowed down to a very specific plan for this particular time. We're here to accomplish certain things. We have certain situations come up in our life that are going to help us grow and help us to balance everything from times maybe when our energy, wasn't, like you say, at the highest vibration. So called karma. But but we have good karma, and then we have karma we have to kind of deal with and do something with, and that's where various techniques come in. So what is what results do you find with the various meditation techniques with people?
Well, we find that it relieves stress tremendously. It calms anxiety. It's amazing how many people really suffer from anxiety disorders. And also adrenal fatigue. There's a lot of people that have that, where they're just so stressed out, and it's calming the nervous system. And it really gives you a sense of peace and your whole body, a sense of well-being in body, mind, and spirit. There's another meditation that we do called Yoga Nidra, and that is a lying down meditation, and that is one of the most healing meditations. The word Yoga Nidra translates to yogic sleep, and it goes through the 5 koshas, which are the 5 energy bodies. And so that is one of the most healing types of meditations. But really, any type of meditation will help to relieve stress, to calm the nervous system, and help bring balance and well-being to your entire body, mind, and spirit.
So basically, you use meditation techniques primarily for healing?
I would say so, yes. I think that most people who come to the studio are coming because they want to feel better.
Right. And you see do your people see physical results from, in their physical healing, your clients?
Yes, absolutely. I think, there are people, especially through I do the sound healing with the various modalities of Biofield Tuning, using tuning forks. And I have had amazing results through that. I had one woman who came in, she had some benign tumors in her pineal gland. She was only in her 30s. And she had some major hormonal imbalances, and the doctor had put her on this medication for about 2 years. And finally he said, it's leveling off, you're not really improving, and he wanted to do radiation. And so she came to me, and we did some sound healing with tuning forks, as well as she began meditation. And the tumors have disappeared within, I think, 2 or 3 months.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We know that healing really begins in the finer bodies, and that's where the problem actually begins too.
Yeah.
And so, like you say, with the anxiety, different things. So yes, we usually will see physical changes with meditation, with our spiritual practices, and it can be quite amazing at times. So that's exciting to hear about. Tell me, I know you could lead us in a little 2 to 3 minute breath awareness meditation or mindfulness. Can we do that today?
Yes, absolutely. So get yourself into a comfortable seated position. See if you can find your sit bones. Move the fleshy part of your seat to the side a little bit, and you can rock a little bit back, left and right, and front and back. So you'll have a slight arch to your lower back with your upper back supported. Let your arms relax either to your side or gently on your lap. Palms facing down or palms up. And let your eyes fall heavy. Relax the muscles in and around your eyes. And give yourself 3 long, slow, deep breaths in through your nose. Now let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. Notice any sounds that you hear in the environment. And welcome any sounds. Noise is rarely a barrier to meditation. Bring your attention to the movement and the sensations of each breath. There's no wrong or right way to breathe while doing this practice. The key is to simply notice how the breath actually is and feels right now. Let the breath breathe itself, receiving it with your awareness. Notice the breath moving in and out of the body. And as the breath enters and leaves your nostrils, notice the cool air on the inhale and the warmer air on the exhale. Feel your chest and your back rise and fall on the inhalation and the exhalation. Feel your abdomen expand on the inhale and contract on the exhale. There's no need to imagine or control your breath. Simply feel its natural sensations. And if you get distracted by a physical sensation, perhaps you might notice pain or discomfort, simply acknowledge it without judgment. Bring your awareness back to the breath. And when you feel complete, begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Stretch into the space around you. If you wish, rub your hands together to create some warmth and place over your eyelids or your heart center. And whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes.
Well, thank you for that, Laurie. And we had a little exercise of focus during that.
Right.
But it's the phenomenon, the quantum phenomenon of when you observe something, you actually change it. And I think people, when they really start doing this, perhaps for the first time or something, is you notice that as soon as you observe your breath, it tends to change some. So it's really a mastery to be able to observe it.
Absolutely. Yes.
But it's very important in our life too, because it's that part of us. We want to be the observer many times when things come up in our world, emotional memories, situations we're facing, where we can be more the observer to respond rather than just knee-jerk reaction.
Yes, absolutely. It's good to remember that, our life is sort of like a movie screen, that, the outer world really is an illusion. And it seems it's almost a reverse, it's the inner world that is truly the real aspect, the real world, and the outer world, which seems real to us, is really the illusion.
Right. It certainly is not the all-knowing space, for sure.
Right.
And that was so well articulated by Gautama Buddha in his life. Well, people ask him, "Who are you? What are you?" And he said, "I am awake. I see things as they really are." And that's a definite point of mastery for sure. So it's great. Well, that's wonderful. Laurie, thank you ever so much for being with us today. And tell our listeners a little bit about how they can get in touch with you, or your website and your
Absolutely.
studio.
So our studio is located in Houston, Texas, and we have lots of live stream classes as well as some energy healing modalities that are available live stream as well. And our website is unwindmeditationstudio.com.
And you have Facebook, Instagram, right?
Correct.
Very good. So happy to have us with us today, and everybody can be just rejuvenated and get into their meditation practice if they're not already. Many of the listeners, of course, are. So thanks again, and it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and I hope that everyone can, if they haven't already started a meditation practice, that perhaps this will inspire somebody to start a practice. So thank you so much.
I definitely hope so. Absolutely. And everybody, I will see you next week. Until then, keep an open mind, a generous heart, and a powerful spirit. Thank you for being with me today. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, download, and comment. I'd love to hear from you, and your support is much appreciated. And don't forget, go to nancyshowalter.com to get your free electronic copy of my book, It's Okay to Be Rich, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Increased Wealth and Personal Mastery, endorsed by T. Harv Eker. And my free mini course, How to Speak Your Success, the shocking truth of how your words impact achieving your goals. I'll see you next week.